Welcome back, brothers and sisters. Tim, Braden, Second Legacy. You are amazing. Welcome back to the 2A talk show that brings sarcasm and humor on an exquisite level, almost to the point of criminality. But we're not going to break that down because we have got to talk about another amazing backfire from the left around their gun control desires. Tim knows it. I know it. It's time for you to know it. It never works. And of course, guys, make sure you hit that like button, subscribe to the channel, turn the notification bell on. Tim, are you ready for yet another gun control backfire? Backfire. I added the echo.
Yeah, I like the echo. Backfires are fun.
They are fun. Not in cars, not in firearms, but political gun control attacks of tyranny. Yeah.
Yeah, those good old days of backfiring cars.
Yeah, back in
Those
the day.
haven't been a thing for a while.
No, but it did happen in my lifetime, so I can reference it. So
Yeah.
it works.
Well, if you find an old enough car rolling around at the car show or something like that, you can get good backfire every once in a while.
Yeah, there you go. That's true.
Anyway.
Well, Tim, so I'm sure you're familiar. Massachusetts, passing a little bit more tyranny last month, month and a half ago. They were all about, low-hanging fruit gun control, right?
Yeah. Isn't it sad how the original 13 have turned into cesspools of tyranny?
Yeah, it is irony. It is. But, we got to say it. We got to show the people, Tim. Even though it is sad, we have a responsibility to show them what's up. But hopefully this will bring a smile to y'all's faces at the very end when we show you how this works every single time with a backfire of gun control desires. So let's get into this. So first person we're going to reference here is one of the gun rights people, the few gun rights people left in Massachusetts, who is suing the state of Massachusetts. Now, this is a pretty common theme. You've seen it with Measure 114 in Oregon, Tim. All of these overbearing gun control desires have one very interesting thing in common recently, which we're going to get into, but they always catch a lawsuit. That's the first thing they always catch, every single time. But this is what he said. His members are in the dark as how to follow the new law, talking about a gun rights group. Literally everybody is asking us what this means, Wallace said. The systems aren't in place and the interpretations aren't in place. Yet, Governor Maura Healey signed the House Bill 4885 into law last month. Now, I'm going to walk you through here in a second what this law did. But Tim, does that sound familiar? When they just sign things into law where the systems aren't in place and the interpretations aren't in place?
I think one of the funniest ones, and I think most of these have been rolled back, if not all of them, where they were passing laws that said, well, if they ever come out with a smart gun, then every gun in the state has to be a smart gun.
New Jersey, I believe.
And then they realized, oh, this isn't workable. Let's go ahead and undo that. Yeah. Anyway, so yes, this is what they do. You need to put a serial number on firing pins. Well, we don't have the systems in place to do that or to track that. Doesn't matter.
Well,
do
it's
it tomorrow.
still a law. Well, it's still a law.
You're in violation of law. We're going to shut every gun store down. That's all they're trying to do here is they're playing stupid games with your rights.
That's exactly right. Well, let me show you some of the stupid games they played here. And this is where it starts to fall backwards. The high-profile changes to the gun law. This is the high-profile ones, the ones everyone was concerned about. A crackdown on ghost guns and other untraceable firearms, thank God. Updating the state's assault weapons ban. Strengthening the red flag law, which allows guns to be taken away from at-risk people. That's my bailiwick. That's one of my favorite little nuances of tyranny, how they pass this along as safety in order to get red flag laws, take guns away from anybody that they choose without having a day in court or due process.
But that's what they want to take your rights away. Take your rights away to protect due process and democracy. I mean, the only way to protect due process and democracy is to take your rights away.
That's actually true. It's kind of like when George Bush said that thing where he's like, in order to save the free market system, I had to destroy it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right?
Huh. I'll tell you, politicians have a weird way of thinking. I don't know. Anyway. But this is the...
So back to these really detailed bulleted points. Crackdown on ghost guns. Let's crack down. That's not nebulous. Let's update the state's assault weapons ban.
Yeah.
Okay, what do you mean? I mean, maybe this isn't what's written into law, but these are nice nebulous bullet points.
Yeah.
Do they ever get to the meat and potatoes of the changes they actually want to make?
Not really. In fact, would you like another soup du jour, a second soup du jour of nebulous descriptions without any type of interpretation or written law? Well, you're going to get it. This is number 11. This is some of the less publicized ones. So the first ones were publicized. These are the little sneaky secret ones. Those changes include changing what shotguns and rifles can be sold to what? Don't know, don't care. Adding new education requirements to get a gun license. That one's going to be fun to unpack. Laying out new requirements to add serial numbers to firearms. They have them. Why are you... Anyway, here's what the guy says.
Would they change the depth requirements? Maybe make the font bigger?
Make it a little deeper font. Yeah. Maybe it's got to be Times New Roman now. It's a good point. It's a good point.
Or we're just going to serialize everything, which was what the ATF was trying to do, which
Yeah, lowers, uppers, mags,
yeah.
all of it. Right. Well, this is what the guy says in the gun rights group. Again, we're building into the backfire here. It's to the point we can't even keep up with emails and phone calls because people are scared, legitimately scared, Wallace said, because they have guns and they know they're being targeted. They have nebulous laws that don't have any interpretations or definitions, but it still carries the force of law. What could go wrong, Tim?
Yeah.
I can't think of anything.
And these are the tactics that the left use. I've said this many times, Braden. You know I've said it. A lot of the point of a lot of this stuff is simply to scare you, to make it so muddy so you don't even know the legal path to exercise your rights, that you just voluntarily opt out of exercising your rights because you're scared of the nebulous laws they're trying to impose upon you. So
I believe they call this the chilling effect.
Exactly. Great Soviet style government. I mean, these are government policies straight out of the Cold War, and not from our side. From the side that
bad side
we thought we beat, but now seems to be in power in DC. Yeah, this is crazy.
It's odd. Well, maybe we should hear from one of the lawyers who passed it, because I think I'll feel better. I'm pretty sure you'll feel better if we hear from the liberal Massachusetts gun controller. It makes so much sense, and then we'll get to the backfire, because this always happens. This is number 12. Get ready to feel better.
Okay.
Now we've empowered the first responders, healthcare workers, and law enforcement professionals who've seen individuals in crisis, Day replied. The representative added, we've strengthened our laws on getting ghost guns and getting these illegal guns that are flooding our neighborhoods off the streets. According to Day, again, representative who helped pass this, the state has plenty of time to figure out how to implement the law because it doesn't go into effect until October 23rd, 90 days after the governor signed it. The law gives the state even more time to design regulations to implement some of the provisions, such as serial numbers and licensing classes. So they signed a law that said they're going to do something, but don't worry, there's got to be no details or enforcement or anything written out because we've got time to do it after it becomes law. This is kind of like when Pelosi was like, we got to pass the bill to find out what's in it.
Yeah.
Just level of stupid.
Yeah.
Oh.
Just let us pass this highly restrictive law that could put you in prison for most of your adult life, if not the rest of your adult life. And look, we'll sort this out after we pass the law. We don't really know what the law looks like or what the penalties might be or what violations you might commit of this law. We'll just leave that up in the air for now. Just trust us. We have your best interests in heart. We'll figure this out. We got 90 days and then some beyond that to kind of sort out how we're going to put you in jail.
Yeah. Doesn't it feel good? Feels good. Yeah. I thought you'd feel more relieved. I thought your fears would be assuaged. Yeah. That was good stuff. How to say nothing while still saying everything. So now the backfire, Tim. Are you ready? Give me a little drum roll.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. Here it comes. Number 13 happens every single time without fail. Best gun control or best gun salesmen in the planet are gun controllers. Our investigative team analyzed state data about dealer sales for about 2.5 weeks at the end of July when it was clear the bill was about to become law. There were 11,927 guns sold by dealers in that short time period, about 4 times the amount sold in that same period in the previous 2 years. They're selling guns faster than they can keep up with, Wallace said. Every single time. 400% increase.
Yeah.
And the whole point is to prevent guns, and you're getting more guns on the street. You guys are doing great work.
Yeah, and the people buying these guns, they don't care what the law is going to be afterwards. I mean, it's just kind of like in Illinois and Connecticut and other places where they've done things like this, where they've banned certain types of firearms. People race out before the ban goes into effect. They buy up everything they can, and then when the ban happens and they're supposedly forced to register their firearm,
they don't. Is Chicago still at 1% or sub 1%? I got to look into that.
I mean, it was like Connecticut's like, okay, you have till tomorrow. Don't remember. They're putting out these PSAs. You got to register those guns, folks. Come on. You got to do this. And then nobody does. And then they go, okay, we just passed a law saying you got another 90 days, folks. Come on. You can do this. Come on.
90.
They're so funny. And people historically, Colorado, everywhere they ban something like magazines to firearms, people never register or turn in their stuff. They just never do.
Ever. It just does not happen. I mean, and this kind of brings up an interesting point because they have to operate, and this is an important thing that a lot of people don't realize. They have to operate with the consent of the governed.
Yeah.
I mean, they have to, right? And a lot of their power derives from the population submitting and accepting what they're doing.
Right.
And every time that they do full-on bans and require registration, the population literally sticks their collective middle finger right up in the sky. I mean, every time you mentioned Connecticut, I think that was over assault weapons and mags, right? That was the main thing. Mm-hmm. And now they've got this going on in Massachusetts, and then you got it in Illinois. All of these things, guys, like, understand, this is not just a cut and clear, dry, like, oh, they got it. We know where all the guns are.
It's like, look at California. They ban magazines.
That's another example.
And then a court says, nope, can't do that. People race out and buy a bunch of magazines, and then the ban goes back into effect. And then 6 months later, the ban's gone again. Oh, race out and buy a bunch more, and then the ban's back into effect. Meanwhile, people just keep stockpiling. It's a beautiful thing watching liberty take place in the face of tyranny. But
it really is. But it happens in real time. My personal favorite is the Pritzker reaction to when like sub 1% registered, and he's like, "Well, it's the summertime, and people
they're out using the weapons when when winter hits, and they're not using the weapons. They'll register them. When they got a little extra time when they're watching
winter time when they're bored.
Yeah, they're sitting around watching
Snows
the Simpsons.
come in.
Like, hey, honey, did you register the AR-15?
It's all good.
Yeah,
it's all good." But no one did it, Pritzker. You have egg on your face. I need to do an update video on that. I need to figure out what the number is actually at now. That would be fun.
I don't think they want to publish them. They may not publish them because they don't want people knowing. Because if you publish those numbers,
I'm still going to find it.
I ain't going to do it either. Yeah.
I'm still going to find it. I'm a bloodhound. That's all good. But take us out of here so I can go look for this stuff.
Absolutely. Yeah, you go look up stuff for important videos that we'll film maybe tomorrow. Thanks for watching Second Legacy, folks. We'll talk to you guys soon.